Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to some more ECL Elite coverage here at SportsGamers. The playoff continues as we have EXEN taking on Tohtorit to close out their best of 7 here in the quarterfinals. My name is Sin, joined today by Brandon, B Major Bigsby, and well, I'm feeling terrific about this matchup. EXEN right now has the advantage, but you got a chance to talk to the teams earlier, and both of them are seeming pretty confident.
Yes, and I mean, it's kind of funny because you kind of figure coming into the nothing that one team going to feel very confident, the other going to feel maybe a little bit worried, but that wasn't the case at all. As a matter of fact, it felt like EXEN maybe felt like they hadn't hit their best level, while Tohtorit still had the spirits about as high as ever. You could have easily have thought that it was 2-0 Tohtorit. The way that both teams are talking, and both are very humble, very complimentary of the other. This series is going to be very, very fun to watch, and I'm just going to say it, if we get a fraction of what we got in our 1 versus 8 matchup yesterday, we are in for a doozy here today for the 4 versus 5.
Absolutely, and well, we'll take a look at the rest of the bracket as it stands right now so we can see the entire playoff picture. Of course, yesterday we closed out the series between Valokuitunen Esports and the Blackjacks. The Blackjacks being the 8 seed, taking Valokuitunen to the brink. Valokuitunen coming through in game number 7 to close that series out, and man, oh man, wasn't that a terrific set, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a classic in terms of the ECL Elite Division since I've been here, at least. A memorable series that, like you said, the Blackjacks took them to the very brink. It was just a matter of game 1, that 2-goal lead that they weren't able to hold on to, and then game number 5, that goal by Benito with 0.8 seconds left in the 3rd period to win them that game. I mean, again, just kind of going back 24 hours later, you still feel like the Blackjacks just a play or two away from pulling off easily one of the greatest upsets we've seen in this division. But Valokuitunen and Esports doing what they always do, finding a way to get the job done. They move on to the semifinals and now await their opponent that could very well be in this matchup that we see here today.
Absolutely. So we'll see how all that shakes out as we'll take a look at these two teams and how they've stacked up so far throughout this playoff round. Obviously, EXEN having the advantage in the series. You'd expect them to have the advantage in the numbers, and they do.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit surprising just to see the discrepancy in the goals for and goals against. 5 goals for EXEN compared to just the 2 for Tohtorit. But the one thing that I think that has gone under the radar is that Tohtorit was good on the power play. You see that 50% that they had during that 2-game stretch that we saw on Monday. When they had the man advantage, they were able to take advantage of it, which is impressive because, again, they only had 2 goals and they didn't have more than 10 shots in either of their 2 games. So despite them not having the offensive output that they ideally would have liked to have had, still some positives to take away there from that Monday. So we'll see if they can build on that here in games 3 through 7.
All right, so we'll take a look now at the lineups for these two teams. Of course, it's what you'd expect from a lot of them. Not a whole lot of change at all. You see Aro, Donkelia, and Indy up front for EXEN with Landström and Moja on the points. Kazu in between the pipes, and on the side of Tohtorit, you have Ojala, Profilipaki, Harlow up front, and then Kerkes and Segasormi on the back end with Stammer in between the pipes. And we'll break down the individual matchups as well, starting with the centers, of course, Donkelia and Profilipaki. And throughout these games so far, I mean, that could be a big issue for Tohtorit unless Profilipaki gets going. We saw him on the ice, but, his face-offs aren't there, and he's not producing either.
Yeah, which is really surprising because he was a guy that was a huge reason that Tohtorit found so much success during the regular season. As a matter of fact, he led this team in goals with 26, was one of the higher end players in the league in goals for this season. So he's a guy that was a massive contributor to this Tohtorit offense, and it kind of feels like that as he has slowed down, this whole team offensively has slowed down. So maybe his stats just kind of a product of what EXEN has done defensively, or maybe just struggling a little bit here so far early in the series. But give a lot of credit to Tunkelia on that other side. He has been absolutely amazing. The first time, if I believe, that we have seen him in the Elite Division playoffs, we've seen him plenty of times in the Pro Division with Reality Check. I think he may have had one playoff run with Reality Check, but really the first time we've seen him with one of these top-end teams. And so far, you've seen, even though he might not have the highest points for, he has been able to contribute in a lot of different ways, especially on the faceoff dot. 53.5% compared to 45 for Filipaki.
And we know how important possession can be in matchups like this during crunch time, as we'll move over now to the winger comparisons for both of these two teams. And I mean, for the side of EXEN, it's what you want to see. Aro in particular, 4 points, 3 goals in those 2 games, Brandon.
Yeah, and I think that he's the guy that is going to probably get a lot of the attention defensively from Tohtorit here in the rest of the series. You see the 4 points that he had, 3 of them being goals. He took 12 shots out of, I believe, a total of 27 that EXEN took in their 2 games combined. So, I mean, you're talking a little bit over 40% of the shots came from Ardo alone. So he's going to be someone that commands a lot of attention. But once again, I'm looking to see how these forwards of Tohtorit look here in this game. They just haven't had a lot of offensive success, and Oyala and Harlow, 2 guys that once again played really well in the regular season, just have not seemed to find their rhythm here so far through the first 2 games of the series. And remember, these 2 played during the last 2 games of the regular season as well. EXEN won both of those games, and outside of the first game that those 2 played, really, Tohtorit has not had much offensive success. A 2-0 shutout in the last game of the season, a 3-1 loss in game number 1 of this playoff series, and a 2-1 overtime loss in game number 2. So they have not scored more than 1 goal but once in the 4 times these teams have played. So those 2 wingers on the right side are going to have to find a way to get going. Otherwise, it could spell a world of trouble for this Tohtorit team in this series.
And we'll take a look now at those defensive pairings, and obviously the ones for EXEN, partly responsible for a lot of the shutdown that they've created so far. Not just that, you see them putting up points too, both Landström and Moja.
Yeah, and I think that those 2 have arguably been the best defensive pairing that we have really seen here so far this season. And Lundstrom, a guy that we have seen step up for this team, but the addition of Moja coming over from H-Reds, he had been with Tunnel Vision for the seasons before that, a 3-time ECL Elite champion. He has been someone that has added so much to this team, and I actually got a chance to talk to him before this game, how he has been able to impact this team, what he sees in this EXEN team, as well as what he has seen in Tohtorit on the other side as well.
Yeah, so I guess we can kick it over to that interview right now. We'll get to hear Brandon interviewing Moja.
I'm here with EXEN defenseman Moja. Moja, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here before games tonight.
Of course, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you guys, including those 2 playoff games, you've now played this Tohtorit team 4 times in the past week, so plenty familiar with them, and you've won each of those 4 games, so you found some success. What do you feel like has contributed to EXEN's success against Tohtorit so far this season?
I mean, we've been able to find our defensive game in the second half of the season, which is a huge factor, especially now that we are in the playoffs. And I also think that preventing Tohtorit from those fast turnarounds and counterattacks is the single biggest thing when it comes to beating them. And I think that we've done a pretty decent job at that against them so far in this season and the ongoing series.
Yeah, and, you know, you guys have had that success so far against them, but no team perfect, obviously. Everyone wanting to continue elevating and improving their game. Is there anything that you saw specifically from the first 2 games of this series that you feel like you guys could improve on or do better at?
Yeah, I mean, our build-up play and success on breaking into the offensive zone just might have been the worst it's been like all year, all season. And that's the first thing we want to improve tonight. And I mean, also just being a little more effective and trying to create more scoring chances.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. It was hard to tell. You guys were absolutely amazing. We thought those first 2 games. So credit to you guys for being able to take those 2 wins, despite maybe not being perfect on some of that build-up play. Considering some of your personal experiences, being a 3-time Elite Division champion, you've been to the finals 4 seasons in a row of both Tunnel Vision and HRED, so you know as well as anyone what it takes to be at the top of this division. What is it about this EXEN group that makes you feel like you guys can contend for a trophy? And do you feel like your past experiences have helped you with your new team?
I mean, obviously the past experience helps a lot when you know what it takes when it comes to winning and being successful in this league, and how to deal with certain circumstances and problems that may occur during the season. But right now, we obviously want to just focus and take one game at a time. We've been quite inconsistent with our game the whole season, and there's a lot of room for improvement, especially if we want to challenge. But at the same time, we all know that if we can push ourselves to our A game, we can challenge anyone. But that's obviously easier said than done.
Yeah, well, we'll see if you guys can do that. You're 2 steps closer to that journey. You know, talking about your opponent now a little bit into Tohtorit, they've been quite the surprise story for many this season and have proved that they can really compete at that level. Took that 1 season hiatus. Not many people thought that they would be in the playoffs, let alone the top 4 of the standings. You've seen them plenty of times this season. What is it about them that makes them such a tough side to go against?
Yeah, they definitely were a surprise, and props to them for performing on such a consistent level, especially throughout the regular season, especially with even the top teams. It was a hard task for them to play consistently and getting points consistently against normally teams that you would expect them to get wins, but dropping them all season long. And gotta give props to the consistently how Tohtorit played throughout the season. And I think Tohtorit have a tight group of guys who really want to prove themselves in the scene. And at this level, I also think that they have been playing a lot in the off season, which shows, and they're not afraid to play.
Not afraid to play, but I know you guys aren't either. Have to feel pretty good coming into this with a 2-0 series lead. What does EXEN need to do to close out the series and move on to the semifinals?
Just try to keeping the focus throughout and not giving the opposing team any easy goals or free goals in general. Those are the main things.
Hey, well, we'll see if you guys can execute on that. Moja, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Best of luck during the rest of the series.
Thanks.
All right, so great to hear from Moja right there, and it's just interesting to hear Brandon. They're the team up, and he's seeing that they still got some stuff to work on and things like that. It's very interesting to hear that perspective. But we take a look at this goaltender duel. I mean, my clear favorite right now.
Yeah, and Stammer, a guy that has really stepped up for this Tohtorit team this season. I think that his stats maybe not showing to the level that we saw him play in the 2 games on Monday, but when you compare it to Katsu on the other side, 89.5 save percentage, a 1 GAA in the 2 games. I mean, those are just stats that are absolutely absurd if we are being quite honest. I mean, absolutely insane what he has been able to do. And we've seen this from Katsu over the last 2 seasons, him stepping up in these moments. This is multiple playoff experiences that he has had now, so it's no surprise. But Stammer, over on that right side, he's a guy that we know can step up and can steal some games. We saw him make some big saves on Monday, and he got to see everything in front of him on those 2 games. I got to talk to him as well, just like I did Moja, and he had some very interesting things to say. And Sin, I don't think that he's lost confidence whatsoever, despite those stats and despite the 2-0 series deficit.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's kick it over to that interview now, as Brandon got a word in with Stammer.
I'm here with the Tohtorit goalie, Stammer. Stammer, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys have been just quite the amazing story so far this season, coming back after a 1-season hiatus and shocking the ECL world to not only just make the playoffs this season, but also earning a top 4 seed. What do you feel like has contributed to you guys' success so far this season?
Well, first of all, I think that the little break that a couple of our players had from the ECL hockey was the right decision to do. As during this comeback season, we have noticed that we are more motivated than ever before, and also we enjoy playing this game much more at the moment than during our last elite season. And other thing to mention is that, in my opinion, we have an excellent structure and balance in our team, which we have been able to use in a correct way. Amazing goalie, two different kind of defenders, and unpredictable front three has been key to our success. And during the whole regular season, we have tried to develop our game all the time, especially with the puck. And you can see it, for example, as multiple zone entries.
Yeah, and even though this is you guys' first time in the Elite Division playoffs, I know you're enjoying your hockey a lot more. I know you had to really be enjoying it during the Pro Division season where you guys won a championship there in Winter 22. I know you, Oyala, and Harlow were each on that team and are back this season. Do you feel like that experience from that championship year is helping you guys in your first Elite playoff series?
Absolutely, yes. I think that experience is helping us a lot. Many people can say that we are a very inexperienced team. And now as the series is 2-0, I guess major of people are sure that this series will be a piece of cake for EXEN. However, I think that back then in our last pro season, we made our way to the playoffs from seed 8, which meant that we would face only high-seeded teams on every round. We were crowned as champions after winning 3 Game 7 series, which included many crazy comebacks. So I would say that we have been in much more difficult situations before than we are now. Even we are talking now about elite playoffs. That kind of experience gives us a lot of confidence and calmness into our game. We have always been really confident team, and we haven't really ever been nervous during any games, even when the stakes have been high. So yeah, long story short, that experience helps us a lot at the moment.
Yeah, and you're going up against another experienced team in EXEN, a team that's been in this division for a long time. What is it about them that makes them so tough to play against?
Well, we all know that EXEN team is full of quality players that have been in this scene for a long time. They have a lot of high individual skill, which make them very unpredictable as a team. And from my point of view, EXEN is at their best when the game has a high tempo and situations are changing a lot. So that's why our main task is keep them away from the puck as much as possible tonight and play with our own strengths.
Yeah, and last question here for you, Stammer. Don't want to take up too much of your time. You mentioned 2 things right there that I know you guys are going to be looking out for, but knowing that you're down 2-0 in this series, but you have played EXEN 4 times, so you're very familiar with these guys over the past week, and you've had 2 days to kind of think things over, talk things over with your teammates. What do you guys feel like you have learned from this series so far, and what does Tohtorit need to do to come back and win this series?
Yeah, well, I think that especially the game 1 was completely ours, but we couldn't get the positive result from there. Game 2, really tight game, and after a coin flip, EXEN got their second win. But that's playoffs, and we need to take more shots on goal and be much more effective on our goal scoring chances. In the first 2 games, we scored only 1 goal in each game. And if we want to win this series, we just have to score more goals. I think defensively we are on the right direction. And if we will be able to add effectiveness to our offensive game, we can definitely win this series. Also, all of the pressure is on the EXEN side, I think. So now we just need to enjoy about this situation and use it as an advantage.
Well, hey, you guys have shocked the ECL division plenty of times so far this season. What's one more? Stammer, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Best of luck the rest of the series.
Thanks a lot.
So good to hear from Stammer on the side of Tohtorit, but we're going to jump over now to the keys for success, starting with EXEN, and Brandon, take it away.
Absolutely, Sid. Number one for EXEN has got to be capitalizing on offensive zone time. We saw so many times to where they would really control the puck in the offensive zone, and they were able to get some good shots on net. But it's something that they're going to have to continue doing in these next few games if they want to go ahead and close out this series. Number two, lean on your past experiences. We've talked about it, Sid, all series long. This is an EXEN team that is arguably one of the most experienced in the entire elite division. You throw Moja into the fold. We heard from him earlier. A 3-time elite champion. You've got to lean on this experience, especially against a team that has not been here on this level before. And then finally, be ready for Tohtorit to punch and to punch hard. You know they're going to come out desperate. You know they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. And you just heard Stammer in that interview. He has no lack of confidence in this team. He knows that this EXEN side is good, but he knows that this Tohtorit team has been here before. They have dug themselves out of deeper holes in what they're in now, even so much so to where they led themselves all the way to a Pro Division Championship in the Winter 22 season. So you have to expect that Tohtorit is still feeling confident. You cannot get overconfident. You have to be ready for them to come in and punch hard, especially with this Game 3 being such a critical one for them.
Absolutely. This is getting towards danger territory for Tohtorit, particularly if they lose the next game. Coming back in reverse sweep fashion simply does not happen all that often. So we'll jump over to their keys to success on the side of Tohtorit.
Yeah, for Tohtorit, I think number one, we talked about it when talking about the forwards, creating more offensive scoring chances. They really didn't have many in those first few games, and as we mentioned that stat earlier, in 3 of the 4 times they've played EXEN, they've not put up more than a goal. So they have got to find a way to some offense. If they don't, it's going to be a struggle for them. Number two, disrupt Moja and Landstrom. Those two are really the straw that stirred the drink. They actually were both in the top 3 in time with the puck during the regular season. So much of EXEN's offense and breakout run through those two defensively. Expect them to be very active as well on the offensive end, holding the puck on the point. If you can try to disrupt those two's offensive flow, it could throw a wrench in EXEN's game plan offensively. Then finally, take what you learned on Monday and use it here today to adjust. Everything in the elite division, especially about the playoffs, is about finding ways to adjust. It's okay to have a strategy, but you know that the teams you play against are going to adjust. You're going to have to adjust yourselves at some point. Tohtorit being down 2-0 in this series, they're going to have to use some of the things that they saw Monday, as well as some of the things they saw last Thursday when they played EXEN, and try to find a way to adjust to get themselves back into this series.
Well, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that, and we won't have to wait too long, Brandon. Word is the teams have matched up. We're just ready for that game to get underway. So Game 3 will be just around the corner here, but I like all those keys to success. And something else for Tohtorit, I think, is, just I would say don't let them intimidate you either. And that's not to say like a physicality standpoint or anything like that, but it's just like it could be tough as a newer team in the elite division to, come in and here's all these big names at the top who have been in the playoffs, who have found certain successes here and there and stuff like that. But, what do you think that Tohtorit would need to do in this first period to accomplish that sort of thing?
I think just come out aggressive. You're down 2-0, and the thing with this Tohtorit team is that you heard Stammer say it, they have not lost their confidence at all. They've been in situations like this before, maybe not at this level, but they believe that they can compete at this level. They've proven it all season long when many thought that they didn't. So if I'm them, I'm looking to be aggressive. Why not throw out a bit of a strong forecheck to start this game? Try to make EXEN uncomfortable. Make this game one of those games to where you know that you can come out and swing that first punch. That's what EXEN has to prepare for, and Tohtorit has to be willing to throw it.
Well, here we go. Game underway here. EXEN and Tohtorit. EXEN on the bottom of your screen. And those white and purple jerseys, they get an early chance on a one-timer that must have hit something and sailed over the glass.
And that's the kind of start that you would have liked to have seen Tohtorit get. Just a quick opportunity there, not even a full 60 seconds into this first period. EXEN going right in, putting that puck on net. Hey, they're the ones that said we can start out aggressive too. Gotta love seeing that if you're an EXEN fan.
Face-off one on the side of EXEN. They're getting off to an early start. Moja comes in, down low to Otto. Otto has it now in the corner. Peels away, sent back to Moja. And good early cycle here by EXEN. They feed to Otto back in the middle there. He was all over the ice, but here's a quick turnaround. A possible 3-on-1 if they can hurry. It's at least a 2-on-1. A shot saved by Kazu. Huge Huge stop early on off the counterattack from Tohtorit. EXEN trying to return the favor right there on the rush, but they get disrupted at the blue line. Kerkis and Segasormi working it out though, but a turnover in the neutral zone leads to an attack. Aro trying to feed it to Indy. He can't quite get the loose puck. And Oyala coming back the other way will drop it back as Tohtorit will reset, look to slow things down a little bit. Dump and chase coming out now. Oyala will get it down low. Harlow in possession, trying to go to the middle. Couldn't quite get that pass through, and a quick counterattack now. Aro with some speed down the left wing side. Pass in front, they score! Beautiful feed from Aro. He finds Indy, and EXEN has struck first.
And in the first two games, it was the opposite. It was Indy feeding Ardo, but this time Ardo returning the favor, and that has got to be crushing for Tohtorit. They come in, get a really good opportunity there on that kind of spin wraparound attempt. Looked like they might have had something, and then EXEN on a great counterattack, just able to break into the zone clean. Indy and Ardo take care of the rest, and they take an early 1-0 lead. That is the exact opposite of what Tohtorit wanted to see, but exactly how EXEN wanted to start this game, continuing the momentum from Monday.
Nice attempt right there. They do get the puck back. Oyala trying to feed Harlow once again. They couldn't connect on the first opportunity, and that one they didn't connect on and sailed all the way out of zone. But this is not the start that Tohtorit wanted, as it was EXEN really being the aggressors coming out early. But Tohtorit, they have plenty of time to get their responses. They have a nice little cycle going right now, but can they get a scoring chance out of it? In the corner, goes back up to Kerkis. Oh, deflected off the post. That was the chance, but they can't find the back of the net.
Oh, and EXEN got away with one right there. That looked like that was definitely going to be a goal. Just hit off of that back left post, but if you're Tohtorit, you have to feel like you're knocking on the door.
Face off one on the side of EXEN, so the Tohtorit attack will be slowed down for now, but a miscommunication there will put Indy offside. We'll have a stoppage here just over the midway point of the first.
Yeah, I think for Tohtorit, they're going to have to try to find a way to slow this EXEN breakout down just a little bit. That's a good step towards right there, creating that offsides, because really before that, EXEN was getting past the blue line with relative ease.
Harlow makes the feed right there, looking for Profilipaki, but it was disrupted. Moja joining the attack, tries a one-touch deke to the middle. That goes awry. He will drop back to his position. Allow the forwards to put a forecheck in. Oh my, Indy almost intercepted that. That would have been disastrous for Tohtorit, but they're in on the attack. Pass over to Profilipaki. Gets disrupted. And here come EXEN coming back the other way. Aro now. Pass over to Indy. He goes back to Moja. Calm play by him along the half wall. He has it again on the point. Landström. Good job to dodge the attack. Neither point man electing to shoot quite yet. Pass over to Tonkelia. He can't pull the trigger. Big step up by Landström, but that creates some space. Oyala shot, a huge glove save by Kazu, who plays it out. And EXEN trying to get a quick counterattack of their own here. Indy gets put into the bench. And this game really starting to open up here in the latter stages of the first period. Oyala scores! The response that Tohtorit needed. Beautiful pass from down low. Oyala makes no mistake, and we are tied at 1.
And you know what, Sin? I think what helped create that play was the hit that brought that EXEN player over into the bench. It was essentially a 5-on-4. I couldn't tell who it was that got flipped over there, but it took them a while to get back into the play as they were trying to get back over the bench, and it gave basically a 5-on-4 power play for Tohtorit there for 10 seconds. They took advantage of that space, capitalized with a goal, so something you don't see often helps Tohtorit get on the score sheet and tie it up.
Great response here late in the first period. EXEN now want one of their own. You know they want to be in the driver's seat here. Donkelia, nice play back up top to Moja. Landström and he play catch with it. Finally a shot from the point, and they're rewarded with the goal. Indy with the deflection up front. And Tohtorit's celebratory nature will have to wait just a little bit longer as the immediate response from EXEN.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about this during the keys to the game, is that they were going to have to be prepared for Tohtorit to punch and to punch hard. We saw them do that in the form of a tying response, and EXEN, just like that, 3 minutes later, find their way back up in front. That's a tip play that we've seen them go for a few times in this series. It works for them successfully again to take their lead back.
So face-off won by EXEN to the go-ahead goal here. Time winding down in the first period. The stretch pass off the wall gets intercepted, but Moja, good recovery defense right there, getting the intercept and stopping Tohtorit in their tracks. Indy now head of steam. Pass over to Otto. He couldn't quite pull the trigger. Not sure if he was expecting to get that loose puck. Nonetheless, that will do it for the first period. Some wild action, a couple goals, and EXEN has the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, in a pretty back and forth game so far at that. We saw both sides get a flurry of opportunities. We saw EXEN get that quick shot on net with just, 30 seconds into the game, and then we saw Tohtorit get that slap shot that just hit off of the back post. EXEN, however, able to get the 2 goals they needed to get the advantage, and that second goal right here, just off of that tip play, able to beat Stammer to go in. And I think you're seeing it in the stats so far, Sin. Both teams kind of getting success offensively through different ways. Tohtorit doing it through volume, EXEN just doing it through puck possession, even though they haven't shot the puck very much. So different strategies, but both teams, I think, playing rather well so far and have to be pretty happy about where they are. For Tohtorit, however, as great as they're playing, have to find their way to get up in front, because being down 2-0 in this series, you can't afford to go down 3-0. Winning 4 in a row against this EXEN team is going to be a rather tall task, a nearly impossible task. They have got to find their way up in front, even though they are playing better than they did in games 1 and 2.
And currently 100% shooting percentage on the side of EXEN right there. That's obviously not sustainable, but they are precise at the moment here. But Tohtorit, nice attack right there. A bit of unfortunate that puck came loose. They had a good amount of numbers on that rush chance, but they'll have to slow things down here, try to get a cycle going. Harlow lost it, forced the turnover, then lost it again. Otto tried to feed that one up to Indy, but it was taken away. Oyela and Harlow enter the zone. Harlow bumped off the puck yet again, and the defense from EXEN looking very staunch here in this second period. Oja and Landstrom have to be a little bit careful navigating that. Another shot from distance there. That one hit off the post after the deflection. So it's good to see them breaking out these shots from the point, because they are finding success with them. Donkelia now has the puck. Over to Landstrom. He looks for the one-timer to Otto. That one's blocked in front. Counterattack, but Profilipaki's pass goes to no one. And EXEN will regain possession. There's a couple quick possession changes in the neutral zone. Will force EXEN all the way back to reset in their own end. Landstrom sauces that one in. Otto in pursuit. Gets a big hip check off, but they can't retrieve the puck. And here comes Segasol right back the other way for Tohtorit. Pass over. What a feed right there. Tic-tac play. They do score! They didn't get it on the initial chance, but Segasormi, undetected in that high slot, will get a huge goal. And it's tied once again.
And Tohtorit, they just keep on fighting back, finding their way to that tying answer every single time. We saw them get an opportunity or two right before this goal. They kept pushing the issue. EXEN were not able to clear it out of their own zone. And Tohtorit, give them credit, they are playing worlds better than what we saw them play on Monday. You could tell just the offensive generation that they've had, and some of those troubles they've even given EXEN in terms of getting clear opportunities. Well-deserved 2-2 game. These teams going back and forth right now. Fun hockey to watch.
And it is. Tohtorit has possession once more. They do get it over the line, albeit not cleanly. They have possession down low in the form of Oyela. He's trying to work with Profilipaki, the centerman, but they can't connect on a pass. Donkelia brings it back the other way. Down low to Otto. He'll kick it back up top as EXEN get to work in the offensive end. Indy's shot disrupted by Oyela. And here comes the counterattack. Harlow poked off his stick. EXEN will have it once more. Donkelia takes it around the net, poked off his stick, still forechecking for it, but a good job by Oyela to just skate that one out of danger. Harlow looked for a drop pass off the wall. They are going to maintain possession. Bit of a broken play here, but Tohtorit are able to get this one in deep. Gerkes now. Beautiful passing play again. And Profilipaki has his first of this series.
We said it's in during pregame. Profilipaki very quiet in those first two games. No points in either game, but right there gets open on that one-time play. And just look at the cycle. Look at the quick passing that Tohtorit utilizes to make that play happen. They get it to their best goal scorer in Profilipaki. Led this team in goals in the regular season. You see why right there. Beautiful setup there for Tohtorit's first lead of the game.
EXEN now finding themselves for the first time trailing in this game. Had a lot of goals so far. And they're trying to get one more in response. Look at this. A quick 5-man counterattack. Some space. Oh, Profilipaki tried to get the pass away. It still almost found the back of the net, but he looked like he was one-on-one with the goaltender, a little confused about why he didn't shoot.
Yeah, I like this for Tohtorit. They're continuing to apply the pressure. We knew that they were going to have this surge in Game 3, and knowing that they need to win. This is exactly what you want to see. Keep your foot on the gas pedal. 1-goal lead, not enough against this EXEN side. You have to keep going. You have to keep pushing.
EXEN now trying to get something in response, but Tohtorit doing a bit better job at the blue line here than they have the rest of the game. They force another turnover here as Harlow will cross the line for his team. Passed over to Oyala, and man, that could have been a 4-2 game right there. Oyala just could not pull the trigger. He gets a desperation pass off. It'll sail all the way back. Careful now. Stammer may have a bit of trouble with that. Forced loose. Donkelia's shot gets blocked, but a good forecheck from EXEN now threatening to get some chances. Bouncing puck off of a stick, so it won't be icing.
I like this from EXEN. They're countering Tohtorit's aggression with more aggression of their own. We hadn't seen them really apply that forecheck much until Tohtorit got on this run. Like that strategy to try to strategize to counter with aggression with what Tohtorit is doing.
The shots, and that might have been hits actually. I couldn't quite tell what the graphics said. I would be...
Shots wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, neither of those would surprise me the way this game has gone, so... Yeah, we'll play the guessing game on that front, but it's an interesting pass to somehow split just about everyone all the way to Stammer back there. Errant pass right there on the side of Tohtorit will lead to an EXEN possession. They have the zone. Moja trying to backhand shot. Time expires here in the second period, and this back and forth affair continues, but now Tohtorit, the team in the driver's seat when it comes to the scoreboard.
Yeah, a few big goals for Tohtorit in that second period, and each of them well-deserved. You could just tell they really ramped it up, and they were playing with a sense of desperation. And I think that that's kind of what you have to do in a situation like this, where you are down 2-0. You're playing against an EXEN team that you know has a chip on their shoulder. They were bounced out in the quarterfinals just this past season. They've kind of had issues getting past this round over the last pair of seasons, so you knew they were going to come out hungry. And I think for Tohtorit to get that 3-2 advantage, having 7 shots in their 4.5 minutes of time of attack, while for EXEN, just 3 shots on net in almost 6 minutes, that is absolutely playing into their hands right now. So give Tohtorit a lot of credit, but EXEN, I think, has to try to be a little bit more willing to shoot the puck. It's great that they have a good amount of time in attack. It's great that they're willing to cycle that puck around and look for the perfect play, but they just have to put that puck on net after a while. You can't score if you don't give yourself an opportunity to, so it's going to be interesting to see if they try to adjust towards that here in this third period.
See what happens as this third period gets underway. Sent all the way in down low as Tohtorit trying to create something. Donkeli now will take it up. Otto all the way over to Indy. EXEN trying to get themselves established in the offensive end. Pass back up top to Moja. He'll pinch in. Indy in front to Otto right there. Didn't look like he got a shot away. He might have got one away quickly, but it would have been saved nonetheless. But EXEN still in possession. Not the pass that they wanted right there. A chance for Oyala on the backhand, denied by Kazu.
Look, Mark, that save if EXEN win this game, that's huge right there.
Yeah, just a broken play in the neutral zone, and it led to a breakaway on the side of Tohtorit. You see EXEN trying to slow things down right now. Time is a factor for them, but I don't think they need to be in panic mode quite yet. See what they can generate here. Another force pass in the middle, intercepted. And a counterattack coming back the other way. I've lost the feed on my end here. We're just gonna try to make sure that we're actually still live on the SportsGamer side of things. All right, sorry about that. It must have been, we just had something on the back end here, guys. No worries about that, but yeah, we are indeed back here. We just lost the feed momentarily. Face off in the offensive end now on the side of EXEN. Fortunately, didn't miss a goal, so we're still safe.
So generous, these two teams.
Yeah. Landstrom over to Moja. His shot goes just wide as he was aiming for that far side. Down low now, Oyola has that one knifed away. And a big counterattack coming, but Landstrom opted to try to go for the middle, which had more traffic there instead of to the outside. And I feel like these little mistakes that EXEN are committing right now could come back to really bite them in this game, Brandon.
Yeah, it's really been the little things, and Tohtorit, they've done a good job taking advantage, and that's another little mistake right there, leading to an offensive rush.
Oyola takes it into the corner. He gets drilled, but Kerkis there to pick it up. Miscommunication there with Harlow. But Tohtorit still have it as Oyola takes a shot. That one saved by Kazu. Oyola still in possession. Kerkis now. He'll activate from the point. Kicks it over to Oyola. And a nice shot by Harlow, but a better save by Kazu. He had to be sharp on that one as that puck was bouncing all around. Hard to track. Now sent in. Otto up top to Landstrom. He'll creep in. Back to Moja. Moja to Otto, but a big save by Stammer right there off that one time.
Both goalies standing tall on back-to-back possessions there. Kazu with a big save. He's made multiple big saves. Tohtorit could easily be up by more than one goal if not for his efforts. And then you see Stammer, who we talked about earlier. The stats in this series not really showing it, but he has been sharp here so far against this EXEN side that has been tough to play against all year.
Just under 6 minutes remaining here in this third period. EXEN need a goal to tie it, to keep this game alive. Well played by Moja to hold the line right there, but he does end up turning it over. Harlow gets drilled at the blue line in a quick counterattack now. Landstrom in on the attack with Indy. Low shot, rebound! Oh, down and out is Stammer. He's able to get back up. And it's Tohtorit headed to the power play here. I thought initially that was going to be against them, but Moja sitting in the box for two. Interference in front of the net.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I thought it was maybe that scrum in front after Stammer's goalie was kind of sprawling there from that initial shot. Maybe thought there was a trip or a high stick or an interference, but turns out it's going to go against EXEN, and that is massive for Tohtorit, knowing that there's just 4 minutes left. You get two of them with the man advantage. Chance to close this out.
Just trying to set up a cycle here. Also, if they could score on this man advantage, that would pretty much spell doom for EXEN in this game. You see they're prioritizing possession here. Segasormi. Now to Profilipaki, looking for that one-time pass to Harlow. Taken away. They try to get that one out quickly and also counterattack at the same time. They're going to have to be careful here. Landstrom is going to hop up, but realizing he won't have a shot at it, is going to try to conserve as much stamina as he can. That's a rough play right there. His EXEN's hold at the blue line just melts down. And Tohtorit almost got a backdoor tap in for free. Kerkis now over to Oyola. Back up top to Kerkis. Man out of the box, but successfully, successful penalty kill, but also a lot of time coming off that clock for EXEN. Approaching the 1 minute mark here. Landstrom gets in.
That's a full-time last minute. Remember, there was a patch that was released today, so it's a full-time last minute now here for EXEN.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, that patch did indeed go into effect, so the real-time last minute is back. Landstrom now over to Moja. Now to Otto. Rebound! They score! Tonkalia sweeps that one home. If at first you don't succeed, try again. He kept whacking at it with his stick after the first one was saved by Stammer, but eventually he puts that one home, and we are all tied up.
And I was curious to see how EXEN played it, knowing that there is now the full-time last minute. I'm not sure if they remembered that or not, but they looked very calm and composed. There was not a lot of franticness like we had seen over the last few months in that last minute of each period. Really took their time, got a good look by doing what's in, shooting the puck. That's what they needed to do more. They get rewarded for it there. Now it's a tie game with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, 2 of their goals coming off of plays like that. 1 deflection, 1 off of the rebound. But they might not be done yet. Otto sounds that one down low to Tohtorit. He tries to get the give and go with Otto right there, but they cannot quite connect. Tohtorit may have another chance. Profilipaki up the middle, trying to feed Oyala right there. They don't quite connect. One final rush here on the side of EXEN. Lundström doesn't like what he sees. And he tried to send it over to Indy. That will just about do it here for regulation, as we are going to have overtime. And what a back and forth affair this was.
Yeah, I mean, and this right here feels like it could potentially be the series in theory. Obviously, we've seen wild things happen, but a 3-0 down comeback is something that is so tough to pull off. Having to beat a team 4 straight times in the same day is such a difficult task. This could potentially be the swing game of the series. EXEN could go up 3-0. Tohtorit could make it a 2-1 series going into game 4. This is the biggest period so far for both of these teams all season long. I can't wait to see how they manage it.
Absolutely. I mean, Tohtorit, it's not quite season on the line, but as you said, it is just about. You lose, you drop this game here, and EXEN has you in a stranglehold. You have to play mistake-free hockey, and that's just such a tough situation to put yourself in a game where sometimes, you know, puck gets thrown on and it'll bounce in, correct? So we'll have to see what happens in this overtime here, but Tohtorit, they desperately need this next goal, and I think we're going to see them play like that as well.
And remember, these two teams went to overtime in game 2, and EXEN pulled that one out, so not the first time these two have been in this situation this series.
Lundström with the puck now. Bring it up the ice for EXEN. Has Otto down the left wing side. He stops around the face-off dot. Lundström will activate from the point, kick it back to Moja, who shifted over to the left side to cover for him. Delayed penalty here. We'll get a chance to see EXEN's power play. Not the time you want to see that coming into effect. Puck knocked loose, and Harlow should win the race to it, but we'll get a chance to see EXEN's power play, as I believe that's going to be Profilipaki sitting in the box.
Yeah, it will. So the centerman going to the box for Tohtorit, meaning that will slot Harlow at that center spot to take face-off. So not only do you lose one of your better players, but you also have somebody else taking the face-off draws against a Tukelia who has been at over 50% at the face-offs this series. So something to keep in mind there.
Good tie-up right there, but Indy comes in there to get that. That's a good communication from them off the draw. Lundström looking for that shot. He had a bit of space on that far side. Now sends it to Tohtorit. He goes back to Lundström. Moja activating from the point, peels away, doesn't like what he sees. Shot right there. They score! It's credited to Lundström. I initially thought it was deflected as Tohtorit swept out in front, but it's Lundström's goal. And EXEN has a 3-0 stranglehold on this series.
And Sin, you said it there during the overtime intermission. You put the puck on net. We've seen bounces happen before. That's exactly what happened. It was just a shot from the point. Stammer made the initial save. He kind of got up from that butterfly position to try to stop it from going in, but it just trickled in there last minute, and it looks like it may have also been poked in by a defender. I believe that was Karkas that just poked that one in at the end. Tough break for Tohtorit, especially considering that this was by far their best game of the series. But EXEN pull off the comeback late and steal this game in overtime. And you see it right there, that leg poke check. That was what did it.
Yeah.
Tough break there for Tohtorit.
Yeah, it looks like it's trickling in anyways, but at the same time, yeah, that cannot feel good for Karkas, who had a really big assist early in the game as he activated from the point. So still overall a good game, but that's kind of been the story for Tohtorit so far in this series. It's just they're close, but yet so far, and here they are down. I almost want to say, no, not every goal, but almost every game was decided by just the one goal. And we saw that here, another overtime. We had an overtime previously, I think we did have that one game. I think it was game 1 that was decided by a few different goals. But I mean, it's still a tight series. But for Tohtorit, that's 2 overtime games where you drop, and that can destroy your psyche at times.
Yeah, and that game number 1 was 3-1, but you have to remember, Tohtorit held a 1-0 lead early in that game. So even in that one, despite losing by more than 1 goal, they still had a good amount to where it looked like they could have been in control of that one. So as great as it is for EXEN to be up 3-0, I also think they kind of have to feel a little bit fortunate that they are, knowing that they had to come back in this one late. They had to win the last game in overtime, so it's unfortunate for Tohtorit. I know they probably have to feel like they deserve a little bit of a better standing in the series than where they are than 3-0, but you know, at the end of the day, sometimes that's kind of how it goes. You take those bounces, and that's why it's so important to get that multi-goal lead. We talked about it earlier that 1 goal was not going to be enough of a cushion for Tohtorit. They never could necessarily find that 4th goal, and remember those multiple saves by Kazu in the middle to late part of that 3rd period kept EXEN alive, and sooner or later, his 5 skaters in front ended up rewarding him with that extra life in overtime, and they gave him the game winner to boot.
Yeah, that breakaway save, as you mentioned, is looking absolutely massive at this stage as EXEN came away with the victory, have a 3-0 stranglehold on this series. We'll have Game 4 coming up for you in just a matter of moments, but first, we'll get a word in from our sponsors, so don't go anywhere.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, thank you guys for sticking with us. And we have game 4 here coming up. Puck drop just a couple moments here. And, well, a long road back for Tohtorit, Brandon.
Yeah, and I think right now the only thing you can do is that you can't really think about trying to come back from a 3-0 deficit. You just have to take it period by period at this point. Just do it one bit at a time. You're not going to be able to get off this back in one play or one game. You gotta just take it period by period and make each one your best.
We saw some early zone time there for Tohtorit, but now EXEN in on the forecheck and making the most of their zone time here. Moja over to Landström there. He misses a pass to Otto. Bit of a miscommunication there. Landström, though, gets bodied from behind, but Indy picks up the puck. EXEN getting to work. Moja, shot from the point, looking for the deflection. No one home, looked like it was blocked. And Harlow brings it back the other way. His pass, though, doesn't connect with his target. But Oijala on the forecheck keeps it alive as I think that was Kerekis taking a shot right there. Played out by Kazu, and I think he plays it out then more than any other goaltender in the ECL Elite.
Yeah, and I think that shows the confidence not just in himself, but in his team to go and make a play with it, you know? It's one of those things where you're feeling that momentum and you think you can get a rush, play that out. Sometimes he can catch the opposition off guard, which for Tohtorit a couple of times it has, because he does it at the last possible second, so you think you're going to get that stoppage, and all of a sudden it's a rush.
Nice play right there by Moja, trying to pass that one back. Initially thought he was going to shoot forehand. He tried to hit the trailer on a cross crease. It was intercepted well defensively. Nice turnover forced on the forecheck there. The move made by Harlow. Couldn't quite complete it. Long saucer pass up. That was a beauty. Indy shot. Stammer makes the save.
Yeah, and, you know, give Stammer credit. He's done about as much as he can do so far in this series. And I think something to keep in context is that even though Tohtorit is down 3-0, they arguably just played their best game of the series in Game 3, so they're improving game by game. They still could maybe make something happen here. Just, once again, have to take it one period at a time. Not going to be able to get it all back here in just one play or one game. You have to keep that in perspective.
EXEN nearly capitalizing off of that forecheck play. Moja just swept the rebound wide. Had full pressure for a couple seconds, but it was quickly negated by the clearance. But they're right back in on the attack, and EXEN looking dangerous. That being said, good defensive play by Oijala to knock that off a Moja stick and force EXEN to reset once more. Pass errant into the middle. Profilipaki, though, on the back check. Couldn't get on the breakaway. Harlow had a nice in-tight opportunity, but that was stopped. Ongele coming back the other way as this game begins to open up, looking for the one time on the back door. The rebound was trickling. Otto shoots, he scores! There have been some hectic bounces in these two games. The puck ping-ponging around, but EXEN on the receiving end of a good bounce again. Otto picks it up, and he scoops it home. Just a beautiful goal.
Yeah, beautiful goal, and just look at that snipe there, right over at that top right shelf, right in between the post and the netting. Nothing you can do about that really as a goaltender, just perfectly placed. He had some space to get that shot off at the high slot, ripped it, and was able to capitalize. And that was the one thing with EXEN that last game I wanted to see more of, was them shoot the puck, and they started doing that in the third period. Ever since then, it feels like their offense has just totally opened up.
The counterattack, no backhand, scores! Harlow, a response near instantaneous off a nice feed by Oijala, and Tohtorit right back in it.
And it's the gold helmet wearer that does it, Sin, and that's exactly the response that Tohtorit needed. It's sometimes easy to question whether or not the team can just kind of almost give up in spirit after you give up that first goal and you're down 3-0 in the series, but that says a lot about this Tohtorit team, because as he mentioned, this is a situation they're plenty used to. They've been doubted since before the season started. them being down 3-0 is not going to change that whatsoever. They are used to that. Gotta love seeing them fight back there and tie this thing at one apiece.
See if they can maintain, some more advantage here. Obviously, they had the 1-goal lead in the last game, coughed that one up here, but it does feel like throughout the course of this series, they've been playing catch up a whole lot, and that's a tough way to play this, and not a way to find much success here in the Elite Division, so we'll see if they can nullify that by any means. But, oh man, the pass from Otto right there. Didn't quite find the recipient, but passed in front to to Landstrom, pinching in from the point. Almost got the left defenseman for each team mixed up, but that's Landstrom. Just a beauty awareness play from him.
Yeah, and we talked about one of the keys for Tohtorit coming into this was they were going to have to find a way to slow down Landstrom and Moja, and unfortunately so far they just have not had success in doing that. Landstrom getting the game winner in overtime for game number 3, and then right there just pinching in, using that offensive ability, being at the right place at the right time to get that puck, put it on net, and beat Stammer. How good has he been back there for this EXEN team all series long?
He's just been fantastic here as the back and forth nature of these games, and especially today, are continuing. Last game, it kept going back and forth, couple different lead changes, and well, here we are already. EXEN got the lead, Tohtorit tied it, now EXEN takes the lead again. They have the puck, Moja can't quite put that one over the blue line with Indy coming in with speed, so they'll be forced to get the neutral zone draw.
Yeah, it just feels like EXEN has had the better sustained offensive zone time. I mean, Tohtorit's 1 goal was a counterattack off the rush. It just feels like they haven't really been able to establish time in the offensive zone, while EXEN have really done a good job of controlling the possession and not turning it over. The breakout especially has been especially clean. You see it again right there.
Oyala gets that puck for Tohtorit in the neutral zone. Harlow with the pass back to Kerkis. Kerkis creeps in. Oyala looking for that one-timer, just a bit too far away to get much power on it. Once again, played out by Kazu. Moja takes it into the corner, feeds Otto. And you can see EXEN getting their cycle going. Like a one-touch deke by Lundstrom right there. Just a couple seconds left here in this first period. Moja comes in, backdoor feed, they score! Beautiful pass by Moja, find its way through traffic, and Otto capitalizes once more for this EXEN squad.
And once again, it's the defenseman, this time in Moja, and look at the patience that he had carrying that puck. It's so easy sometimes to look at that clock and say, oh, I have to make a play, I have to make a play. He waited and knew that he had that little bit of extra sense of time to get that pass off cleanly, wait for the space to get that opened up, feed his man over on that opposite side post for that one-time play. Beautiful playmaking from the 3-time Elite Division champion, and now EXEN in full control of this game and the series going into period number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, there is still 2 periods remaining, but for Tohtorit, they're watching their season slowly dwindle away for them. Perhaps it feels rapid, the amount of goal, the sheer, quickness that EXEN got that go-ahead goal, and then that insurance marker as well. They're getting the better of time and attack, and they have the more shots, Brandon.
Yeah, and it feels very opposite of what we saw in that last game, where Tohtorit had a lot of the shots, but less time in attack. EXEN, they've had the possession game. They have dominated the possession game really throughout every game of this series. It's just a matter of, do they put enough pucks on net when they do have that zone time? And it feels like, once again, ever since the 3rd period of game number 3, they have prioritized finding their way to get those shooting lanes open and putting the puck on net more. It has worked wonders for them, and Tohtorit have got to muster up in response. If they have anything left in the tank, they have got to pull it out right now.
Tohtorit do get possession after the face-off. Harlow gets that puck in. Segasormi trying to force that to Profilipaki. Harlow's turnover! Oh, man. Rips a shot on, and Kazu makes the glove save.
And we haven't really talked a lot about Kazu in this game just because it feels like EXEN has had so many offensive opportunities on the other end, but he has stepped up and making some big saves, which they're going to need if they want to hold on this lead and clinch this series.
Shot right there by Oyala. Turned aside by Kazu once more. Kerkis now kicks it over to Oyala. They play catch with it. Kerkis trying to find some space. Finds Harlow, another nice save by Kazu right there. The netminder for EXEN coming up big when he needs to for his team. Very reminiscent of last game.
Yeah, very reminiscent, and it's needed right now. You have Tohtorit trying to make a comeback. You have EXEN trying to hold on. This is when your players, your best players, have to step up in these big-time moments.
Face off one, they try the slap pass off the wall. Not quite the correct angle, but it still made it to the correct target. Harlow gets drilled as he tries to cross the line, but a good forecheck right there. Better back check by Tonkelia to read that and cut that pass out. Moja now just bullies his way into the offensive zone. I think he tried a windmill deke to the shot right there, but he didn't quite maintain possession through it. Lundström shoots from distance right there, deflected I think by Indy, but change of direction wasn't enough to fool the netminder Stammer. Lundström still has it. Great zone time from EXEN. Lundström gets it right back after the loose puck. Give and go with Tonkelia. They'll now swap positions. Shot deflection, scores! And EXEN is just picking Tohtorit apart. Indy on the deflection. His second goal in that matter over the course of these two games. And the stranglehold gets even tighter for EXEN.
And once again, Sin, it starts with the defenders at the point, making the play happen, carrying the puck, moving it over to that opposite side point, and ripping that one-time shot on for that tip play. Beautiful work from EXEN. You can tell they have an extra pep in their step right now. They are feeling themselves. They are thriving offensively, and unfortunately for Tohtorit, it just does not feel like their day right now.
It just doesn't. They're trying to break out some long stretch plays, but EXEN is just all over anything. Low shot for the rebound. You like to see that. They need a goal. They need it fast. Oyola now has it in deep. Goes to Profilipaki. He's very quickly closed out. Pass in front to Harlow. Doesn't go. What a save by Kazu. He then sweeps that puck away, too. Problem for Tohtorit is when they get those A-grade chances, Kazu is making massive saves.
Story of the series, it feels like they get a chance and then the goalie denies them, and then it's followed up with EXEN dominating in the offensive zone.
Oyola's pass goes awry. Profilipaki kicks it back up top to Kerkis. Harlow trying to take that shot. It's disrupted by a stick. Oyola gets it down low. Profilipaki tries to backhand on the short side. That one's turned aside by Kazu as well. And now Tonkelia will break this one out for EXEN. Doesn't like what he sees. Slow things down. And I'd like to see a
more of a forecheck.
Exactly, yeah. Great minds think alike. We both would like to see more of a forecheck. In that situation, Tonkelia's one time turned aside by Stammer. Otto tries to bull rush that one through and get it on the short side. He's denied too. And Oyola comes back the other way. Gets it to Harlow. Harlow nearly got around the defender, but lost the puck at the last instant. Kerkis' shot looking for the deflection. Blocked in front. Kerkis again. Another deflection. They score! Harlow with the response. Tohtorit not dead in the water quite yet. They have trimmed this deficit down to 2.
Yeah, not so fast, my friends. Don't turn that stream off yet. Tohtorit still have a little bit of life left in them, and it's off of just a simple little play. You shoot the puck, you get a body in front, the stick gets on that puck, and it leads to that tip there, and it's Harlow once again, as he mentioned. He just kind of skates in that shooting lane. He's not even set, but gets the animation for the tip. Really far out tip too. One of the further tips that I think I've seen in a while here on this game. Finds a way to beat Kazu, who has been stellar so far, and that might just be how you have to beat him. Make a play to where you can't really save it like that tip play.
Tohtorit, they have possession again in the neutral zone as they will unfortunately go offside. A couple quick changes of possession right there as both teams trying to counterattack, but we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone.
And how much of that goal to change this game now, Sin? You go from a 4-1 deficit to now being 4-2. Even mentally, it just feels like now you're in the game, unlike a 3-goal deficit to where EXEN is dominating, and they just put 3 in a row on your head.
That one goes all the way back into Tohtorit's end, where they will collect it and try their attack once more. Dump and chase coming out, 2 bodies over there. Oyola comes up with it. Oyola's shot may have clipped the post right there, looking for the far side. Tonkelia, he'll take it back the other way for EXEN. Looking for the backdoor feed, doesn't find its intended target. Moja still in deep, will get the puck. Nice poke check there by Sega Sormi. And they'll begin to break it out now on the side of Tohtorit. Dangerous pass right there, but what a read from Aro. Loose in front, Kerkis trying to go in front once more. Segasormi, shot goes just wide. Kerkis. And that will do it. They can't get that one more chance that they wanted. And that will do it for the second period. A 2-goal lead for EXEN, with the third just around the corner, and Tohtorit. They are only guaranteed 20 more minutes of hockey this season.
Yeah, and they're going to have to really make something happen if they want to extend their season at least one more game. But, you know, on the bright side, I think we saw some good things from Tohtorit there at the end of that second period. They got some opportunities. You see the time on attack, much more even. Really, the numbers in general, much more even than what we saw in that first period. So despite EXEN coming in and getting a pair of goals in that second period, Tohtorit had more shots and they had more time on attack. So a little bit more reminiscent from what we saw in games 3. And Tohtorit now, once again, with that second goal, it closes the gap a little bit and it makes that comeback a little bit more realistic. It puts them back in the game, but they're going to have to act quick. And we both were thinking like on the forechecks in, they've got to get more aggressive. You have 20 minutes to get back into this game and to potentially get back into the series. You cannot sit back and let EXEN play their game. You have to try to force the issue.
Arlo will take this one into the corner. But Tohtorit turned that puck over, and here come EXEN the other way. Kelly just takes that all the way in, gets that one in deep. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of the cycle coming out from EXEN. Gonna have to be careful though, working through Moja and Landstrom. They don't want a high zone turnover. But you're just seeing it. Just great job cycling the puck, killing tons of time, trying to open things up for a scoring chance. Kelly goes backdoor. I think actually that was to Indy. I saw him trying to get a backhand shot on, but Otto was also over there on that one time. Good step up right there from Segasormi, but the puck still gets out. Indy's low shot, that one smartly sticked into the corner by Stammer. Tohtorit collects once more. Puck it to Oyola as he crosses the line. Down low now, Profilipaki. Looking for a pass in front, doesn't have it, goes back to the point. Kerkis now, his shot doesn't quite have enough on it. Looked like it was deflected. Counterattack now coming for EXEN. Aro just takes it into the corner. Doesn't want to get a quick turnover, doesn't want to force a shot. As the more time that comes off the clock, the better it is for EXEN. Moja just pokes that one a little bit deeper in the zone, but he has to hustle back quickly as the counterattack coming out for Tohtorit. Turned over though, and here comes Aro. He'll have a chance, one-on-one with the goaltender. Kill, a huge save right there by Stammer. And that's one to remember if Tohtorit are somehow able to come back. Profilipaki backdoor to Harlow, they score! Defense to offense, a big save to a big goal, and Tohtorit are back within one.
And we say it so often on these broadcasts, and these big saves, like the one you just saw from Stammer, can lead to opportunities on the other end. It doesn't just keep his team's season alive potentially, but it leads to a goal to cut it to one on the other end. And just like that, it flips the momentum on its head in the snap of a finger. It's a one-goal game, and the pressure starts to shift a little bit towards EXEN now, as Tohtorit have a lot of time and just one goal to make up.
Absolutely, that's a big hat trick for Harlow. That's a big turnover here. 3-on-2 developing. One guy gets back. Oh my goodness. Oyola almost had the tying goal on his stick. Just a defensive stick right there. Disrupted him from getting a clean look at that rebound, but that was in the perfect position. Tongeli trying to return the favor for Aro. They tried to get their own juicy rebound, but it was sticked into the corner by Stammer. Tohtorit will reset. 8.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Tohtorit need one more goal still to keep their hopes alive. Profilipaki trying to feed Oyola right there. Doesn't go. Quickly broken out, and maybe a 2-on-1 if they can hurry. Tongeli with the puck. He'll shoot. That's a nice save. Landstrom shot. Oh, they score! Stammer made 2 massive saves, but Indy cleans up the garbage on the doorstep, and EXEN have regained the 2-goal lead.
And you said it there, 2 spectacular saves from Stammer, who has been just phenomenal in this third period, but just not able to make that third save. And you see, you're counting 4 guys right there bunched up over on that left side of the ice. No one there to pick up Indy, who's just camped out right in front to get that third rebound shot for that goal. And for Tohtorit, that is an absolute crusher. Less than 7 minutes remaining. EXEN gets that goal to bring the lead back up to 2. Now things looking a lot more dire than what they were just a few minutes ago.
Absolutely, and now it's pure desperation. They got back within 1. They didn't have to, be as desperate as before, but now they have to be. And you can see EXEN, this is just time-killing strategy. Down low and out wide cycles. They turn that one over. That should go for icing. Indeed, it will. More time off the clock and another defensive zone draw on the side of Tohtorit.
And something that's been a talking point in this series, the difference in experience. Tohtorit, their first elite playoff series. EXEN, these guys have been playing playoff series in this division for years. You're seeing that experience, killing that clock. EXEN knowing they can't make mistakes. They know what they need to do to close this game out, and they're executing it to a T.
Harlow with a long stretch pass to Oijala. He tries to L-skate in. Profilipaki picks it up. Oijala takes a shot. Rebound in front. Tonkelia will gain possession, but loses it off the forecheck. Profilipaki again takes a shot, looking for the short side. Oijala has the puck. Looking for Profilipaki once more. Backhand on, saved. Tonkelia looking to clear this one out, having some trouble with it. They do get the puck out, but it's turned over quickly. Oijala in all kinds of trouble, but the puck gets in onside. Gerkis has it now. Over to Oijala, can't get the shot away cleanly. In the last minute of real time, they need 2. Oijala, what a save by Kazu, who tosses it out as if it's nothing, and it creates almost a 3-on-2. Great back check coming from Tohtorit. And you can see there, EXEN just throw that one on, and all of them get back. This is it for Tohtorit. They need 2. They need to score on this possession here. They force the turnover. Profilipaki now. Kerkis takes a shot. Another save by Kazu. Trying to chip it out. Segasormi keeps it in. Profilipaki can't get the shot away. Oijala can't get the pass away. Segasormi back to the point. Harlow shot from distance. Oijala, what a save by Kazu! Standing on his head and guaranteeing the win for EXEN here. Unbelievable stops from Kazu down the stretch, and he still had insurance to work with. We're gonna see a power play, but it doesn't matter. I can't believe what we just saw.
Absolutely unreal from Kazu, arguably the MVP of this series for EXEN, despite all of the offensive brilliance that we saw from them. I mean, easily 3 clear scoring opportunities there for Tohtorit. Amazing cycle, amazing offensive generation, but just denied by the man behind the mask in Kazu.
One more one-timer attempted off the face-off by EXEN. They come away with the victory here in Game 4. They come away with the sweep in this series against the 4-seed Tohtorit. And that is a steep learning curve, but some would argue a learning curve that was going to be had probably eventually for a team like Tohtorit. This is the playoffs in the ECL Elite, and if you make too many mistakes, if you're not perfect at times, you will get beat by just about anyone else here, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, and I think that just the experience really was kind of the difference at times in this series, and it's unfortunate for Tohtorit that they got swept in this playoff series, because it does leave a sour taste in the mouths of a team that really surpassed everyone's expectations. It's goodness, that save by Kazu. I had to just stop and admire that for a second. But, it is an unfortunate end for this team. You have to remember, this is a group that won just 11 games last time they were in the Elite Division in the Spring 23 season. They had to win a relegation series just to keep their spot, and then they didn't stay. They decided to take a season off. They had a hiatus, came back. You heard Stammer say in our interview earlier that he felt like that season off did them a lot of good. They were enjoying the game more this year. They were playing and practicing together more this year. They felt like that time off did them a world of good, and they proved everyone in the ECL wrong about where they were. A lot of people thought they would be around that relegation series zone to no man's land spot like they were in their last season in this division. Not only did they make the playoffs, but they were one of the top 4 seeds in the playoffs as well. So it is really unfortunate to see their season come to an end in this form, but man, EXEN, the story of the day, just the way they were able to really take the game over at times. They suffocated Tohtorit in the offensive zone. Kazu was absolutely phenomenal in net, and it's going to be different having to play against a team like Valkoitinen or against a team like Strikers or against a team like Tunnel Vision, but I have to feel like the way that they played can carry over against any team. The play style that they really did have can carry over against any team. So EXEN, a lot of momentum, a lot to feel good about, and a semifinal spur for a team that really, really was starving for it.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see EXEN tighten up a bit more on the defensive side at times, particularly on the transition. I felt like that's where they got burned the most. But I mean, everything else, Kazu was incredible throughout the course of the season. I mean, his save percentage, regular season 83.1, coming into today 89.5, and it might have even gone up today. It's hard to tell with that last game just how many. He allowed 3 goals. There, probably wasn't that many shots. Hard to say what his stats will be. We'll have to check on that, but we'll have the luxury of checking on that because his team is off to the semifinals, so we'll be seeing a whole lot more of Kazu coming up there. As you can see, just that beautiful pass by Moja right there. And that's really what I think that was what kind of started the downhill spiral for Tohtorit, just that late backbreaking goal.
Goal in the first period really felt like that was the dagger in the heart for this Tohtorit team, and give them a lot of credit because they fought back here, and it started out with this tip play at the early stages, or the late stages rather, of the second period. And you thought that maybe they had a chance once they got that last goal in halfway through the third. There was a lot of time left. They were starting to play well. Momentum was on their side, but Kazu just standing on his head, and then EXEN able to find that 5th and deciding goal to take it on home. But, once again, I think that really where this series was decided to me for EXEN was the defensive pairing of Landstrom and Moja, not just because of the way they played defensively, but I would love to just see the assist numbers that they had between these last 2 games alone. We talked about it earlier. Both of them finished in the top 5 out of all skaters in the ECL Elite Division, not just defensemen. All skaters, both of them were in the top 5 in time with the puck. Not many players control possession the way those two do individually. You combine that with the forward talent that they have up front, Tohtorit's inability to really be able to give them a lot of trouble. We saw Moja and Landstrom pretty much control the puck and move it off without really any trouble or any contest at all. And to me, that was really the difference in what gave them that extra little bit of strength and gave them that offensive generation. Nevertheless, a ton for Tohtorit to be proud of, but you could tell which team has been here for multiple seasons and which team it was their first ever playoff series. So a lot for Tohtorit to be proud of, a lot for them to build on, but for EXEN, just the experienced team that has played together for a while and have so much talent, just a little bit better here in this series.
Yeah, and I like that you brought up, the defenseman of EXEN really kind of controlling the play because they did a great job of that. And, for Landstrom, we already know he's an incredible offensive force on the blue line. Then they add Moja on the blue line, obviously a former centerman for Tunnel Vision. Then he played a little bit of right wing last season for H-Reds, now Valkoitinen. And to see him back on the back end, you obviously know he's got that offensive presence. And, as we're seeing now, he's not too bad on the defensive side of things either. So just a tremendous series for them. We'll look forward to seeing them in those semifinals here. Obviously, we're not going to be reseeded yet. We're still waiting on the rest of the quarterfinals to be completed. We'll put that up, the schedule, on a screen for you guys out there so you can know when those matchups are coming. We'll have Bjorklöven Esports and Tunnel Vision kicking things off on May 27th, along with Unwanted and Strikers. Both those matchups will be playing the first 2 games of the series. On May 29th, Unwanted and Strikers will close out their series, and on May 30th, Bjorklöven Esports and Tunnel Vision will close out there. So we hope to see you there, and we thank you, of course, for being here today to join us for the conclusion of this series between EXEN and Tohtorit. And it was it's been a while since we've seen a 4 and a 5 seed not have as close of a matchup as you would expected. Some of the games were close indeed, but yeah, not quite maybe what a lot of people were expecting. But then again, EXEN, as you mentioned, that experienced squad.
Yeah, just like I said, the experienced squad that, as we mentioned, this is the EXEN team that they've been here for a long time, and I don't think there's many teams that have seen more ups and downs than this group. I mean, this is a group that, as Jyväskylä last season, were the number 3 seed, got upset by Vesapampa. The season before that, they were a 7 seed, pushed Tunnel Vision to 7 games in the quarterfinals, but just lost in Game 7, made the semifinals in the Winter 23 season as a 5 seed before losing to Tunnel Vision that season as well. That is the last time this team made the semifinals. So it's been a little bit for this team. They've been trying to get there. They've made a couple of little tweaks to the roster here and there. You mentioned the addition of Moja. To me, that was really the big one that said, okay, this team can be a championship contender, because not only do you add a guy of that caliber, but to get a guy like Moja to come into this team, that obviously shows that someone that is a 3-time Elite Division champion see something in this roster that they can compete and he can stay in that championship conversation. So I'm not too surprised to see EXEN in this position. It's going to be really interesting to see who they match up with. If all of the seedings align, it would be Vado Koivunen, but those are 2 series that have some upset potential. I mean, Strikers and Unwanted went to 6 last season. Unwanted could have very well have won some of those games. 3 of them went to overtime, and then Tunnel Vision, as great as they are, they've not been at the same caliber that we have seen them in the past seasons, and Bjorklöven have just continued to elevate and elevate and elevate as the season has gone on. So we're not sure who X is going to play, but whoever they do play, they're going to be in for a tough battle. This looks like a team that, as you mentioned, if they can clean up some things on the counterattack and on those odd man rushes, they look like they can compete with anyone left in this division.
Absolutely. So we're excited for the conclusion of the semifinals. And well, for more ECL action, don't forget to follow us on all social media at SportsGamerGG. Go along to our website as well, sportsgamer.gg, to follow all the stats, scheduling, etc., so forth, everything like that. So we thank you all for watching today. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Kouvolan Lakritsi, for their continued support for the ECL and SportsGamer. So for Brandon, my name is Sin, and we'll see you all in some games very soon.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.